What's going on, Sens fans? Welcome back to another post-game coverage. Sorry we missed the last game. We had some internet issues between us, and things just didn't work out. But we're here now, and we're here with Justin, who's a guest tonight. So welcome, Justin. How you doing?
How's it going? I'm good.
Yeah.
Really fired up about tonight's win. That's huge.
Yeah, it's a good one to be on. Good time to come on, for sure. That was really nice to win that game. We definitely deserved it. That was, other than the second period, which was pretty boring both ways, Ottawa dominated, especially overtime.
I thought as soon as they score early, the Habs, I'm like, okay, here we go again.
Yeah,
it's gonna be that kind of night. But that was fantastic. Just the young guys. When the young guys produce, it's a lot of fun to watch.
Oh yeah,
it really is
exciting. You could just see our future.
Yeah, exactly.
Potential.
Exactly.
Yeah, especially like I think of Stützle and Batherson together. Exactly, you see our future right there.
It's Stützle, Batherson, and then Norris and Tkachuk. Like, just send me that. I could eat that up all day. That was awesome to watch.
I was super stressed because Montreal was all over us when they scored their goal. I thought, I was worried that after they scored, we were going to get hemmed again and either give up the goal, another goal, or give up a penalty and go on the PK. And I was stressed, but overall, I thought we played a really good game. I thought Matt Murray, he wasn't spectacular, but he made all the saves that he needed to make and kind of held us in there. I thought that was really good.
It's all you need.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like finished the game with, what is it, an 8 or a 9:38? Like, can't ask for much more than that. He didn't look excellent, like you said, but realistically, he wasn't that bad. So
yeah, no, I agree.
I thought the Habs power play looked brutal.
Yeah, it did.
Which makes me feel better about the Sens power play, which was also brutal. Except for that they were moving the puck around well.
There was one time where they wasted about 45 seconds in the neutral zone, just passing it back and forth.
So bad.
It's hard to watch.
Natty here says if Conor Brown could legit score on half his chances, he'd be the next McDavid. And you know what? So I said it today. I don't think it's too unrealistic to ask for a player to score half of his breakaways. Like, that's not too far off of realistic. He would have 5 goals tonight. Like,
yeah.
No he's one of the best defensive forwards we've seen in Ottawa for a while. Arguably, you could say Pajot or even Mark Stone. But I think he just brings a whole different kind of defensive forward, especially given the fact that he can't score to save his life.
Well, it's because he's fast. Like, he can skate.
He flies.
And especially on the penalty kill, you need to skate, which I think is why people are so adamant they want Formanton to come up.
Yeah.
But I just... watching him, I think he had more chances on the Habs power plays tonight than they had, I think. I don't know if that's really exactly true, but
I saw on Twitter during the game after he missed one of his breakaways, like, why doesn't he try to deke? Shooting's not working. Try to pull a move and beat the goalie that way, because clearly shooting the puck isn't working for him. What would he have, like 5 breakaways, maybe 4 breakaways tonight, and he missed on all of them, including in overtime?
10 this season, at least.
Oh, right? At least.
And like short-handed every single time.
But yeah, when I saw the overtime, when I saw there was a line change and the puck got sent up to center, I was like, anybody but Conor Brown, please be like, because I didn't really realize who was on the ice at the time. I was like, let it be Josh Norris or Brady Tkachuk or Evgeny Dadonov, any one of them. Yeah. And then I see Conor Brown, and I'm like, please don't be Conor Brown. And there he is.
It was like a slow reveal because you see the puck, and because I think as it was going up, they said Tkachuk went for a change or whoever, or Stützle went for a change. Then as the puck's going, like, who's going on? Who's going on? And like the only guy was Conor Brown. But like, credit to him, he took advantage of tired players on the ice, and then that's when the goal happened. They got a whole change, and the best part about no fans is you can hear the players, and aside from hearing them swear, which is always hilarious, but you can hear them talking to each other, and you could hear them. The Sens talking to each other as they were changing, saying that the Habs were gassed. So they obviously identified that, and it paid off.
Well, we had a number of breakaways. We took advantage of that in OT. Like, Tkachuk had a breakaway. Batherson had a breakaway. If I'm not, I know Batherson did. Tkachuk did.
Tkachuk
I think
did as well.
If I'm not mistaken. It was really exciting. Mm-hmm. I like our odds in OT a lot better this year than I did last year, with a more confident Batherson, Stützle, more confident Brady Tkachuk, Josh Norris, like Conor Brown's flying. Like last year, I would think that no matter who we played against in 3-on-3, we were going to get outskated, outworked, outshot, outscored every single time. Yeah. And now it seems like we can compete with a pretty good Montreal Canadiens team, to say the least. So it was a lot of fun to watch that OT for sure.
How much different of a vibe is it when Brandstrom's back there?
Yeah.
And so let's say Chabot's healthy, right? Get Mike Riley out of here.
Oh, don't get me started on Mike Riley. That guy is a turnover machine.
And brutal. Took a bad penalty late as well.
Yeah, right in the face.
Yeah.
You don't have to. I mean, so you get Chabot and Brandstrom in 3-on-3 OT, just roll them out constantly. Both of those guys just
really though.
I agree. Our best skating defensemen. Keep them on the ice.
Yeah.
And they're young too. Get them experience in the high pressure situations and get them accustomed to, skating with the best skaters on the other team.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I want to talk about our power play real quick. It looked really good tonight at times. The second unit couldn't really get much going at any point tonight, but that first unit looked incredible. And I think most Sens fans are with me when I say that I was upset that Brandstrom was not on there instead of Riley. And I almost want to see Brandstrom up there even instead of Chabot when he's healthy, just because I want to give him that solid opportunity to at least try, because I think that he could quarterback a power play better than Chabot if he pans out to be what we think he will. Yeah. But at least give him a shot.
I agree to give him a shot. I don't know if I'd want him there full time, but give him a chance. I agree. He's got a really high ceiling, so have him prove it.
Tonight was the best time to give him that chance too. I don't want to see the only explanation for Mike Riley being out there so much tonight is that he played 25 minutes for Christ's sake and he was terrible, right? The only reason that he's out there that long is because Dorian's trying to get this guy as trade bait for the deadline. He's got one at the deadline, which is actually pretty close.
It is.
So that's the only reason I'd have for it. But I don't know. I feel like Brandstrom didn't play a ton in the third period. I might be wrong about that.
I don't know. I didn't really pay attention to that, if I'm being completely honest.
He's the only defenseman that had less ice time than him this game was Zub.
Yikes.
I don't like that at all. Braden Coburn, Eric Gabranson, Nikita Zaitsev, Mike Riley.
I think Artem Zub looks really good. I think he should be playing more minutes than any of the guys that you listed other than Brandstrom.
Yeah, you flip Brandstrom and Zub for good Branson and Coburn for ice time. I'm happy.
I didn't mind Coburn tonight, especially spending so long on the taxi, and not playing a game. He didn't look that bad.
No, I agree.
I just, it's such a different feeling when there's no Chabot.
Yeah.
The minutes he eats up, and it makes people appreciate Chabot a little bit more, I think. I hope. But I do agree. I'd like to see Brandstrom on that first unit. But Jacob, we talked about it, the bumper play.
Yeah.
Because that's where Dadonov made his money in Florida. Yep. Just in the middle. The Sens have been burned by it before on a power play, and they had never tried it with him. But having Stützle over there gets the one-timer option for Dadonov, which is why he's in the middle there. And that's what Tkachuk needs to do, just activate on the bottom, on the goal line. It's pretty much how he scored his goal in overtime. Too. He kind of just was on the side, and then he parks his rear out front, and no one can move him, and then back of the net. So
that's one thing that I've noticed about our power play of late is that now that Dadonov seems to be kind of comfortable, once we actually are set up in the zone and are able to actually move the puck around, because Dadonov is now, I think people are on other teams are now seeing him as a weapon as an Ottawa Senator. It's kind of opening up the half wall for Batherson and Stützle to kind of make stuff happen. And the vision that Stützle has on that left side is incredible. When he tried to feed Batherson, that hole that he hit with that puck was incredible.
Batherson could have had a hat trick tonight.
Yeah, he absolutely could have. But personally, I'd actually like to see Stützle and Batherson flipped. I think if they were playing on their off wings, I think that would open up a lot more opportunity. Because going back a while to when Galchenyuk was playing on that offside. On his offside, when you have a guy that can shoot the puck, like Stützle or Batherson both can, having them on their off wing just gives them it's a huge advantage if you can tee it up. Yeah. On a one timer.
So I want to ask you guys now and this is a tweet from Derek Lee that you might have both seen but might not have. Now that we've seen a decent sample of Tim Stützle, who's the best NHL comparable? So I'll read a couple of the answers.
I actually answered that tweet.
Oh, did you? What did you say?
I did. Yeah. So I don't know if I think he's more skilled. I just want to start by saying that, but he reminds me of Jason Spezza.
Okay.
Maybe it's the way he skates or the way he sees the ice, but he kind of like controls the play but slows it down, likes to curl back and look for the open man, really solid at hitting people with stretch passes, but can still score goals and has hands like you wouldn't believe. And I do think that he's more skilled than Jason Spezza and has a higher ceiling than Jason Spezza did. But, I mean, it's been a long time, so I haven't seen prime Jason Spezza in a while. But I don't know. I think that's who he reminds me of when I saw him play. And I noticed that at the World Juniors, actually. I said that to one of my buddies when I was watching. I was like, I could see a little bit of Jason Spezza. I hope anyway.
I liked one of the answers, and I'd never seen this before, but someone said Matt Barzal.
Yeah.
And I thought it's an interesting comparison. I think a lot of the time it's been Patrick Kane that's drawn the most attention probably. And I get that in terms of like the hands and the vision. But I feel like Stützle's a better skater than Kane.
I agree.
Just maybe like just speed wise, not and his agility and stuff too. So I think that maybe he's like a mix of the two. We'll go with that. Like the perfect hybrid.
It's not a bad comparison.
Yeah. Some of them that I've seen on here, obviously there's the Kane, the Barzals, and you put Spezza, Justin. But some of them here, like Peter Forsberg, I think that's a really interesting one. If he can get bigger, like and stronger, I don't think that's too much of a stretch. And I think Forsberg is probably the best player on that list, arguably Kane. But I don't know. I think Forsberg, Korea here. That I don't see Korea as much, but I mean, sure. A couple here saying Pavel Bure as well. So
it's good.
That's high praise.
These are great. Yeah. I was gonna say this is like couldn't ask for better comparisons for him. Probably. I think the sky's the limit for him too, and it's so hard to remember. He's only 19. Like in the overtime, I felt like he was trying to do a little bit too much when he was out there.
Yeah.
Even like the change that led to Brown's breakaway, like that's a risky change, right? Long change, overtime. But he was exhausted, so he had just under 18 minutes tonight. He's getting his opportunities, Yeah,
he was out there for a minute and a half before that change. So
yeah, he was tired.
Yeah.
Going back to what you said about him wanting to do a little too much in the overtime, I find that he does that a little bit when he's trying to break out of the defensive zone. Sometimes instead of making the quick, simple pass to just get the puck out, he kind of tries to curl back and make not the more impressive play, but something that'll immediately lead to something more offensive as opposed to just getting the puck out of the zone.
Yeah.
But I think he's a smart player, and as he matures and gets coached and kind of I know it's been 16 games for him or 17 games, but as he gets more acclimated to the NHL and even the North American game, because there's not as much ice out there compared to when he was playing in the Dell. So I don't think it's something to be worried about, but I have noticed that about him generally, not just tonight in the overtime.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree too. I think he also seems like he gets frustrated easily a little bit. Yeah. And that's just something that happens with young players. He seems like a little bit of a hothead sometimes, Well, and he's getting targeted already. Like you see, I don't know if you guys saw, but Philip Deneau gets praised for his defensive game. I don't know. Apparently he's not having a great season this year, but
hasn't scored yet.
Yeah, hasn't scored yet. So he decides to spear the 19-year-old in the throat. I mean, you can't do that. So I can see why Stützle would get frustrated that way, but he's making an impact if they're focused on him. It opens the ice up for other guys.
If what I don't like about that is if DJ Smith is going to dress a guy like Haley, and something like that happens where Stützle clearly got a stick to the throat, throw Haley on the ice, make something happen. That's the only reason he's in the lineup, is to protect your young stars and to make sure that you're present in the physical aspect of the game and intimidating. Yeah. And I didn't like that there was little to no response for that. That kind of bothered me.
Okay, so Haley had 3.5 minutes of ice all night. So did you see?
One shift, 24 seconds in the third.
Yeah, he was he went in front of the net, and I think it was Weber. I want to say they were in the crease, and they immediately just like locked up. It was just not even a big scramble in front, but Haley, like his gloves were almost off. He was just like he just shook him, and like you could tell he's out there to do that, and that's
literally.
He's got to be like one of the only guys in the league that has no visor now, right? Because it was grandfathered in that you have to wear one.
Jamie Benn doesn't wear a visor, I don't think.
Yeah. So Jamie Benn's probably the only notable player, but it's just funny to see. Like he's obviously there for one reason, and I think that's harmless because he only played 3.5 minutes. It's not like you're handcuffing Watson and Tierney. Tierney had plenty of ice, penalty killing.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to mention about that, Tierney was on the ice for a lot of penalty kill and only has 11 minutes of ice time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's probably and Watson at 9 minutes too. He got some PK time too. So that's just a product of not playing the fourth line, and they won. So I feel like that top nine hasn't been touched in weeks, and that's the good thing because they're starting to click and get chemistry finally.
Yeah, and like obviously we have that extra 5 minutes of overtime, or what was it, 3 minutes or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But like every player in the top nine played 15 plus minutes, and it looked great.
That's what you want. You want to just let the boys roll.
Yeah.
They get in a good groove on the bench, and I mean, Stepan with 18 minutes. That's a lot.
It is. But he didn't look bad tonight, I don't think.
I was going to say, I thought he played a good game. I really like him in the middle between Stützle and Batherson. I really like that line. Veteran presence with two young stars. And
he's a smart player. He just can't skate very fast. But I don't think he gets enough credit for his decision-making when he does have the puck. I think he makes a lot of really smart decisions. And when you have two fast players on your wing, it makes it a lot easier, obviously.
Yeah. Another thing I wanted to mention here while I'm looking at the stats is the faceoffs. So Tierney, we didn't win any faceoffs in the third period, really. Stepan was at 58% going into the third, lost 3 of 3 in the third. Chris Tierney lost 3 of 3 in the third. But I mean, the rest of the team looked great on the faceoff. Brady, he 57% took 7 faceoffs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, all that power play time.
Right.
Derek Stepan, 47%. Again, not terrible. Just about that 50% guy that we expect.
Yeah.
But Nick Paul took 11 faceoffs and was 64%.
He took 11 faceoffs? I noticed him in the dot a couple times. I didn't realize it was 11.
Yep.
That's a lot.
He's been taking a lot of faceoffs lately, and I think a lot of them are on the second power play unit, which is really weird because I would expect a guy like whoever the off guy is that night between Josh Norris or Colin White or whoever it be. Like, I think there's a better center, but obviously he's doing great. So
how was Norris in the faceoff? Did you say
67% on 12 faceoffs?
A rookie. Nice. I think Josh Norris is my favorite player on this team. I love watching him.
Yeah, he's tied for Kaprizov for leading and scoring too, and putting up 67% on the faceoff.
He's what, like 3-4 years younger? I don't know. I mean, Stone won the Calder when he was like 20, or he was up for the Calder when he was 25. So I'm not gonna get into the age thing. It's a bit hypocritical probably, but man, he's 21. I would say that with how Erik Karlsson's playing in San Jose, that if Norris was the only big piece in that trade, it'd be a win. I think it still would be right now. Yeah. But you get Stützle too, so it works out.
Don't sell Chris Tierney short too. I mean, he's not flashy from that trade, but we still got him in that San Jose deal, and he eats minutes on the PK a lot of the nights. And
I do like Tierney.
It's a useful piece.
Yeah, I always forget about the Hoffman to San Jose, and I always forget that. I always think that Tierney came from the Hoffman deal, but it was Bodger. Like, I completely forgot about Bodger.
Yeah,
had a lot of turnover in the last few years. It's hard to keep track.
Who else? So that trade. I bit off topic, but it was the Stützle pick, Norris, Tierney, DeMello, Balcers.
It was a conditional second or like a later third or something.
Right, okay. And have they used it yet?
There was a conditional first that if Karlsson got traded back to the East, that they got first because they didn't want to play against him that much. But
okay, so they used I think they used the Mad Sogard, the goalie.
They traded the San Jose pick and their pick up to get Sogard.
Okay. So that's kind of the tree of what's happened so far. Like DeMello's gone, Balcer's back in San Jose, like whatever. But that's the Stützle and Norris, like key pieces, and I really like Norris a lot. I think he took a big step last year in Belleville, and he can skate, which is fun to watch. But I've been watching him in the defensive zone, and he's like responsible, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
He's really good in the corners, and face-offs is huge.
Yeah.
Irrelevant to his play, but I love the visor tilt too.
Yeah.
Nice thigh.
Good. It's good.
So Natty wants to know who replaces Stepan once he gets traded.
That's a good question.
I think
maybe Stützle down the middle.
That's the plan.
That's the plan, especially with Dzingel coming in. I think that opens up a left wing spot that we don't really have right now.
Yeah.
So I think the plan is for Stützle to go to center, because like, where are you going to put Dzingel on the fourth line? Like, I mean, yeah, we traded 2 healthy scratches for him, so it wouldn't hurt, but he's better than the fourth line. So
I think I think like big brain play for the team would be to put Logan Brown come up and actually play the rest of the season. That's not going according to plan. His clock is ticking. So other than that, you've got the only person you have in Belleville down the middle is Ridley Gregg, who's going back to the WHL. So Belleville's kind of out of answers other than Logan Brown for the center. You've got Anisimov on the bench. I don't want to see him play another game. I don't like him either. So I guess Stützle to the middle, but I wouldn't rush that. So I feel like the timing would kind of have to align.
Yeah.
But again, you can, there's Tierney, White, and Norris who are down the middle, I guess, right? And then Stepan too. So I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if Stepan doesn't even get traded.
Yeah, no, and he hasn't been. If he keeps playing like this, probably not. I think he's scratching his name off of the trade list right now. Still on there a little bit, but kind of starting to scratch it.
Didn't he want out?
I don't even know.
He didn't say that. A lot of people just speculated that because he said he missed his family in Arizona, which makes sense 100%. Yeah. But he didn't say he wanted to trade.
Yeah, I was seeing a lot of mixed things on Twitter. I was seeing like he wants out because he wanted to go to be closer to his family, but then I also saw that he never explicitly asked to be traded to an American market team. So I think everything was taken out of proportion, like you said.
And then he switched his number. Yeah. He switched his number. It was strange, but hey, number 21, Derek Stepan, has been so much better than number 15.
I agree.
It really has been.
Whatever works.
In the memes, like, oh, Derek Stepan, change your number to fix it all. It seems like it did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked Nikita Zaitsev again.
I did as well.
I don't know what is happening to him this year, but he looks. That CC trade is turning into one of Dorion's best right now.
Yeah, it really is. Conor Brown and Zaitsev. Was that it? Just Conor Brown and Zaitsev for CC?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there have been a couple a pick back and forth, but
I've liked Zaitsev all year. He's been pretty solid.
Yeah.
It hasn't been too much of actually. One thing that he did in the last game against the Leafs that really started to bother me was I don't like when D-men dive. If they're in the middle of a 2-on-1, they dive or they get down on one knee and start sliding. That's the one thing that kind of irks me. He does it and Mike Riley does it because, sometimes it works if you take away the passing lane. But if they don't move the puck, you're just taking yourself completely out of the play.
Yeah.
So other than that, I've really liked Zaitsev, and he didn't do it tonight. I thought he looked really good and jumped in the rush and took his chances and could have had one, but the puck kind of rolled on him there when he took a slap shot.
He had a couple good shots though too, and then he gets an assist on Norris's goal.
Yeah.
But he just gets it to the net. It's all the D have to do up there, right? It doesn't have to be fancy. So yeah, I just don't want Mike Riley playing 25 minutes a night. It's pretty impressive that they managed to win tonight.
I know.
And because to be fair, when he had a good stretch of 7 games, right?
Yeah.
But that was when he's playing 15 minutes a night. He played an extra 10 tonight.
Yeah.
And there weren't even he probably had at least 10 turnovers.
Even they called him out at intermission too.
Yeah. That's good. And they're not even just straight he missed, the player missed a pass or whatever. There were at least 2 where he looked and then he just kind of like lost the puck and it went 3 feet in front of him instead of passing. He like you could tell what's happening because I've played hockey. I know that feeling. You look up and you're like, oh, where do I go? And then you just lose it.
Yeah.
Like, but he's in the NHL making millions, so figure it out.
Really though. So yeah, it was not a good game by Mike Riley, but nonetheless, we ended up with the win somehow.
Yes. We honestly just need to tread water with the D that we have. We've got a lot of D in the pipeline, just hang on, develop the young guys where we can, and hope that in next year or so we can get those prospects up. And
we've been saying it too, like the forward prospect, because there's no forward other than Formanton and Brown, and then I guess Greg. I don't really know what other forwards need to come up. I'm probably forgetting there's a big
I could
pipeline.
see Schlappick, and I could almost see even JC Bodine getting a shot.
But just I mean, like in terms of their high end prospects, I guess.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
All the forwards are here pretty much. There's Batherson, Norris, Stützle, and then Formanton, Brown, and Greg would be the only ones I can think of right now that aren't up.
Greg's still super young though. He wouldn't be playing in the A if it wasn't for the pause.
Exactly, but I think that the defense.
Natty just said in the comments.
Okay, yeah. So there are a few, but regardless, the big core that you want moving forward to be a contending team, all those pieces are in the NHL right now, pretty much.
Yeah,
but they won. Yeah, they won. Yeah. Okay, sorry. And the defense prospects haven't come yet, and they're not even in Belleville. Most of them, they're all at North Dakota. So it'll take a couple of years. And that's a bit concerning because defense typically take longer, I guess.
Yeah.
To develop.
When do you think Sanderson could make an impact? Because I've seen that on Twitter, Sean Simpson was talking about during the World Juniors that he shouldn't be playing university hockey. He's ready for pro hockey. He was singing him all these praises. So he seems to think that at the end of the North Dakota season, he could be making his NHL debut, but I don't see it happening this year. I think it's maybe work him in preseason next year, give him a shot, give him 9 games, then maybe send him back to North Dakota for another full year and let him. I mean, it all depends on the state of our team, really.
Yeah.
If we're ready to make a push and he looks ready, bring him in. But if we're still in the state that we are right now, don't rush him. Don't make him burn out. Let him develop.
I wouldn't be surprised if at the deadline Goodbranson gets moved for something because he's up at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And then Mike Riley too. If they can both move those guys out of the way, the trade deadline is right around when North Dakota season should end.
Yep.
So here's my answer to who's filling in for Stepan too, because I seem to have forgotten about
Shane Pinto,
the forgotten prospect.
Yeah,
he's a forward guy coming up. I think that would be, if I'm Dorian, this is my plan, right? You get Stepan, Goodbranson, and Riley, and move them all for whatever it is. It's going to be a draft pick.
Yeah.
And bring up Sanderson. Bernard Docker is definitely, I think this is his senior year, so he can't go back anyways. And then just sign them to deals, right? They don't have to, doesn't mean they're going to be on the team next year, but just get them in games. They could go down to Belleville if they need to. But I think Pinto could step in, and if he makes an impact right away, there's your centerman replacing Stepan.
You think he's ready to step in right now? I don't know anything about Shane Pinto, if I'm being honest, but you think he could step into the lineup this year once their season's done?
So Pinto's fascinating because this guy started playing serious hockey when he was 15 years old.
Yeah.
And he's just climbed, and he got, he's lighting up college this year. So
yeah,
I don't want to say no.
I know he's been stellar in the faceoff dot too.
Yeah. He's got a 57%, and he's taken the most faceoffs in the league, and he's 57 to 62% every game.
So I'm excited for him. I don't know. I mean, it's tough to say when they'd be ready for the NHL because it's tough to judge, especially college. But I mean, Sanderson, and back to Sanderson, the way he shut down Team Canada he led the team in ice time.
Yeah,
they didn't score a goal, and that was if Canada won that game, they'd be called the best World Junior team of all time, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't just like a run-of-the-mill Canadian team. So the fact that Sanderson, an 18-year-old, did that, I think he'd be ready for anything in the NHL.
Well, if you think about it, he shut down a bunch of guys that are NHL ready.
Exactly. You know, right?
Trevor Zegras got called up today. Dylan Cousins, or I guess he played on his team, but Dylan Cousins is playing in the NHL.
Yeah. And then you
got
Byram.
I don't know. Yeah.
He shut down a bunch of pro players. So I think he's definitely ready. I'm not sitting there watching every North Dakota game, but I'm not seeing the highlights, and I feel like Sen's Twitter would be quick to point out if he makes mistakes and stuff, and it would be out there. But he's a two-way defenseman, so he's not supposed to be in the highlights and stuff.
Yeah.
So I just like to see him. I think they should sign him if they can, but I guess at the end of the day, it's up to him.
So we'll kind of get back to the game.
Right.
We'll just kind of the first 2 goals. I mean, they were great plays. Like Drake Batherson, he took the zone all by himself and just drove the net, flipped it right over Jake Allen, and it was almost the exact same kind of thing with Josh Norris. It was a beautiful one-handed tip in, but it just skyrocketed right over Jake Allen. So.
Yeah, I made a joke with my roommates tonight. I said the first star of the game was a Sens puck luck for a change. We got a couple nice bounces, and Jake Allen lost it and ended up in the back of the net. It was good to see for a change.
Yeah. That's Montreal played the game tonight where you'd be like, that's the typical Sens game this season.
Yeah, exactly.
Tons of chances. They hit like 3 posts, I think. And then the 2 goals in regulation, anyways, were just bad luck.
I also made a joke that maybe Brendan Gallagher would have scored when he was in the high slot if he didn't have that freaking visor tint. Couldn't see where he was going.
Yeah, really though. And then for the rest of regulation, I don't really have anything else to mention other than Eric Gudbranson he got embarrassed.
Yeah, he's on a highlight reel.
And it was Corey Perry.
I saw on Twitter that Gudbranson made 35-year-old Corey Perry look like Connor McDavid.
Yeah, really though. It was ridiculous.
When you're taught how to skate backwards and defend a player, because I was a forward, so I don't, you're taught to just don't turn if you're even with the guy who's coming at you with speed, right?
Yeah.
Because if you turn backwards, you're not going to be quick enough. This guy gets right even with Perry. He's skating forward. All you have to do, Gudbranson's a unit. Just angle him out, right? He decides to pivot, and he's flat-footed, and then Perry makes him look silly. It's just I've defended Gudbranson a lot because he's like the new Cody Ceci, I feel like. Yeah. But I mean, you can't defend that. That was just brutal.
Yeah, it was embarrassing, and that's going to be all over TSN Sportsnet tonight.
Everywhere. But about the goal, did you guys think that was goalie interference based on what we've seen?
Based on the couple Thornton instances, I don't know. I didn't say it I thought that because it was really reminiscent. I mean, I personally don't think it was goalie interference, but the way they've been calling it, it seems like if your stick makes any sort of forceful contact with the pad and pushes it towards the back of the net, that they've been calling that goalie interference, whether the puck's loose or under the goalie or whatever. So by the way they've been calling it, yes. Do I think so? No.
I think they would have challenged that, but if you get it wrong, it's a penalty, and that is late in the game. So good on DJ, I guess, but I think it was close. If you could look at it, I saw the overhead angle, and I'm like, I don't know. I mean, Murray's got his left leg fully extended. He's not able to pivot that way, right? Without someone pushing him back. So I don't know. Yeah,
there was definitely contact after the goal, I think, after it was behind him. That was just what I saw, at least. But yeah, for sure. Yeah. And then overtime. What a beautiful period, or overtime period.
That was awesome. Yeah.
It was our editor, Riley, he doesn't watch a lot of hockey, but he has been a lot with these post-game coverages now that he's editing. And he was amazed by the 3v3. He said Ottawa just looks so aggressive. Yeah. And it wasn't just aggressive. It was just that they were smart with the puck. Yeah, and absolutely. Not that they haven't been all year, but especially this game, they made so many, the broadcast in the intermission was pointing it out too. They made so many turnovers in their own end and stuff. Yeah. And 3-on-3 is all about possession. And
aside from that one shift where Stützle got tired, like Montreal didn't have the puck at all.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why Conor Brown, I think, despite the fact that he missed 2 wide open chances again, it's just becoming a meme at this point.
I know. Like he has some voodoo on him or something.
Yeah. But to miss the breakaway and then to keep the puck is, you can't ask for more than that other than a goal, But it was a smart play. And then there was another time where he was it was a couple of seconds later, he was posted up and he got it on his off wing. He could have just ripped a shot. But instead of doing that and giving them the puck back, he waited for the teammates to come on, and then Tkachuk comes on and takes over and scores. So, unsung hero, I guess, in overtime was him.
Well, I feel like the overtime period is kind of a sign of maturity from the Ottawa Senators because a lot of our game is kind of throwing pucks at the net from everywhere and anywhere throughout the game. But the fact that we were able to slow it down, Conor Brown, that's good.
That's a good one.
But yeah, the way we were able to slow it down in overtime and kind of not force a chance and kind of try to create something from nothing, I think is kind of a sign from like our young players because we had a lot of young guys out there in the overtime. Like Stützle, Batherson.
I do want to mention, I saw a tweet by Brian 5 or 6, and he said, next Senators practice is everyone sitting down watching Conor Brown practice his breakaways.
Oh, my God.
Well, a while ago, one last thing about Conor Brown's stick, or shooting, but a while ago, Mike Johnson, who's my least favorite commentator, I want to say that, first of all, but he was saying that Conor Brown can't shoot the puck. He should try a new stick, new flex, new curve, because it's brutal.
Yeah. Something.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't have the hands to make moves, but at some point, just try a deke or something, Like the move that Batherson made wasn't all that on his breakaway, wasn't a huge skill move,
Yeah.
It just, he made a nice fake and just didn't get it up high enough. But I mean, Tkachuk is a great example too, because he's a bit of a meat and potatoes player, but he has hands and he'll make moves on breakaways. It's happened before. So you just gotta mix it up at some point.
Yeah, for sure. And then for what Deegan picks here says, I think the most consistent player this season has been Brady Tkachuk. He went through some dry spells, like for points wise, but he's played the same game almost every game and it works. So
2-point night. Yeah,
really though.
So Norris's goal happened because of him. It was another play where the whole team was changing and he had the puck and it was Shea Weber coming in on him and he protects it from him and then gets it up high to Norris candidate Nikita Zaitsev.
Yeah.
And then he, the overtime goal did all the work like that. I want to watch it again. I will after, but one of the nicer goals that he scored, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
I agree.
So yeah, and then Tkachuk just walks out from behind the net and spins and fires and gets it past Allen to win the game. So great overtime.
Mm-hmm.
So real quick, we're almost 40 minutes in. So we'll start with you, Justin. Who are your 3 stars tonight?
So I had Josh Norris at 3.
Yep.
I had Drake Batherson at 2, and I had Brady Tkachuk at number 1.
Yep.
Pretty simple. I mean, I thought they were all good. Josh Norris, like you said, was good in the faceoff. He was flying around the ice. I thought he skated really well tonight. Made a couple headman passes that I really liked, and obviously scored the goal. Drake Batherson was all over the ice tonight. Had so many chances. Could, like Jack said earlier, could have had a hattie, but I thought he had his hands all over that game. And then Brady Tkachuk, same thing, always making an impact. I mean, he had 8 shots on net.
Yeah.
And obviously had the OT winner. And not to mention, he also had 5 hits. So the physical aspect of his game was there, even in an offensively productive night for him. So I love to see that from him, and that's why he's my first star.
Absolutely. What do you have, Jack?
Okay, so I had the same one, to be honest, but I'm going to switch it up a little bit because there's more options. So I really liked Norris and Batherson's game too, but I'll go Eric Brandstrom at star number 3 because that rush that he made was just so effortless.
That was awesome.
It kind of looked like he was just going for a little Sunday skate, but he's cutting through the entire team and then draws a penalty. So I liked him. And then second star, I'm going to go Conor Brown with this one because I thought he was he was skating, and he probably had the most scoring chances out of anyone tonight. Didn't go in the net, but they, analytics say they will.
Yeah.
At some point, right? So we'll see. But I liked him, and then I'm going Tkachuk again.
Yeah.
Because since his goal against the Jets to win it, so another game winner for him, he has 3 goals now in his last 5 games, with a couple assists thrown in here and there. He's picking up his pace, and I think right before the Jets game or at the Jets game is when they showed him his stats where he has like the biggest goal, the differential between goals expected versus how many shots he takes and all that. He had the biggest differential in the league, so they're starting to go in the net for him now. And like this guy can score 30 goals a season easily, right? So it's good. It's good to see.
Yep. And so I will go, just because no one else did, I'll give Matt Murray my 3rd star.
Nice.
I think he would be an honorable mention on both your lists, but I will give him the credit. Definitely played a good game. And this is kind of going to be a underrated list. I'm going to go Nick Paul for my 2nd. Okay. I think he played a really good game. He had, let me see here, 5 shots and 3 hits. Like, he was present, and like he drew a couple penalties, which was good. And he was just playing like Nick Paul. Like, there's nothing else to say other than watch the rest of the season, and that's what he was tonight. Like, just so consistent that I'll also add him to my list for who's been the most consistent. Definitely Nick Paul.
I agree. He had a shift tonight. I can't remember what it was, but he was out there for a long time. When it was, but he's out there for a long time. And at the end of the shift, he stayed on and forechecked really hard, and like was able to make sure that his teammates were able to change and get a full line change before he went off, and didn't really affect the play negatively when he made his line change. So I thought that was like really solid. He's a really solid player. I agree. He's been really consistent. Yeah,
for sure. And my 1st star, I got to give it to Brady. All around perfect game. So yeah, nothing really else to say about that. So we're at 43 minutes now, so I think this is a pretty good time to wrap it up.
What about what we got to do? Who needs to be better?
Oh, who's got to be better? Right.
We might have a sweep.
Yeah, really though. So who do you got, Justin?
Mike Riley.
Yeah.
Turnover machine himself.
I'm trying to think of someone. I'm gonna try to think of someone else.
I mean, like I could say Goodbranson. I don't expect much more, but like he didn't even have that bad of a game. He just had some really bad moments. But yeah, I don't expect much more.
Can I also say Conor Brown for this one, because he needs to be better offensively, I guess.
Absolutely. He needs to put the puck in the back of the net.
Who needs to be better?
Yes, 2nd star, and he needs to be better. So
or 2nd, yes, sorry.
First time in history. There we go. But that's, honestly though.
Yeah, you're 100% right.
We got another call. I can't click the comments. I don't know what's going on, but Brown has got to be one of the best PKers in the league, was a comment there.
Yeah.
And 100%. I think I saw someone say this on Twitter during the game, and I think it's true, honestly. And it sucks that their penalty kill doesn't really reflect it. Like in terms of where it is in the league, but I think him and Tierney are so good. And then when
that duo's out on the ice, they generate offense.
I know.
They doesn't end up going in the net, but
they get most of their offense from the penalty kill.
Yeah. And all right, so
yeah.
Thanks everybody for watching, and thank you, Justin, for coming on.
Yeah, no problem. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.